Hey guys, it's Rob with Strategy Simple, and I'm back with another live video for you. This one's going to be interesting because we're going to talk about customer retention and organic growth. And this is kind of I kind of call it the hidden gem in organic growth strategies. And we're going to cover a couple of different things. I got some fun stats for you to kind of make you a believer fast. I've got the formula so you can actually calculate your retention rate. And then I also have some overview stats for a few different industries as far as what the typical conversion rates are, the benchmark numbers, so that you can actually compare yourself to your peers. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Now, this is important because it talks about obviously growth. It's going to make you money if you're increasing your customer retention, and then it's also a profitability thing as well. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to jump over to my screen and we'll go from there. And here we go. So what are we going to talk about today? We're going to have 3 stats that are definitely going to make you a believer on why you want to focus on retention. We're going to go through the customer retention formula, and I tried to simplify this as much as we could. We're going to go through retention benchmarks by industry. So without further ado, let's go ahead and go. This is number 1. So a 5% increase in customer retention can boost profits anywhere from 25 to 95%. Now, I know 25 to 95%, that's a really big spread, Rob. Come on. But look, if you could increase your retention by 5% and boost by 25% your net profits, would you do it? Duh, right? Why would you not? The bigger numbers, that's if you can reduce churn and keep retention and go from that. So that's a pretty simple stat, right? 25 to 95. If I can increase it by 5%, not a huge number, and increase profitability by 25, let's say even 25 to 50%. But that's a number from Hubspot, so they're a pretty reliable source, so I'm not going to give them too much of a hard time. Going to the next one. This one's interesting. The probability of selling to an existing customer is 60 to 70%, while the probability of selling to a new prospect is only 5 to 20%. So I'm going to just be quiet for a second. That was really hard. But look at that number, right? So again, thinking about, with the industry pushes, regardless of what industry you're in, upsell, cross-sell, from a retention standpoint, if you have a new offer, you have additional products, you have bundles that you can sell to your existing customers, you're 60 to 70% more likely. Why is that? Because people do business that they know, like, and trust. They do business with those people. So they already like you. They've already bought from you. They believe in your value. So if you have an opportunity, if you can retain your customers and sell them more, it's kind of a no-brainer. So, yeah, I really liked that one. And this next one is along that same line, right? So 1 in 3 customers will pay more for a better experience. So think about your clients for a minute, and then think about that 1 in 3 will pay more for a better experience, right? And this is from Invesp, right? So they're, again, another really reliable source. So if you think about that for just a second, what if you could offer premium services? What if you know that a concierge service or an elite level service for your client or product, they'll pay more for that experience, right? So if you look at, I always kind of talk about insurance, right? If you look at the high net worth companies, there are carriers that focus on that, and they, their coverage is net the same, right? If something bad happens, you're going to get paid, but it's the experience that rolls around that. So if you're in IT services, if you're in retail, it doesn't matter, but people will pay more for a better experience. So I thought that was interesting. But I'm going to go ahead and jump over to the formula now, because I always get clients ask me, like, Rob, how do I calculate retention rate? So it's actually a pretty simple formula. So let's go jump over to this. Customer retention rate is basically the customers at the end of the period, E, minus the new customers acquired during that period, N, and you divide that by the customers at the start of the period, or S, okay? So that's great, Rob. CRR equals E minus N over S, right? Okay, that's fine. So let's talk about what that actually looks like in practice. I'm going to keep the numbers low just because math, but you start the year with 20 customers, you gain 5, right, in the first quarter, and 1 customer leaves, so that's 24. So you end with 24 customers. minus 5, you gained 5, divided by 20, because that was what you started with, you've got a 95% retention rate. Okay? Pretty straightforward. Here's another one. You have 44 customers, you gain 12, and 13 leave. Okay? So you started with 44, you gained 13, or you lost 13, right? So that's where it ends up at 43 minus 12, divided by 44, you're at a 70% retention rate. So if you've got hundreds of clients or thousands of clients, you can do the exact same thing. So it's the number that you end with, the number that you gain for that period, right? So is it per month? Is it per quarter? Is it per year? Pick a time period. Start with the number that you ended with, the number that you started with, and how many new customers you got in that period, and that'll identify what your retention rate is. So that's a really critical number because it's also part of your customer acquisition cost and your lifetime value calculation. So we've talked about those in the past. So I'm going to go ahead and jump over to the last piece here. Pretty interesting to me when you talk about the retention rates by industry. And some of the benchmarks that are on here, and everybody says, "Oh, I've got the best in the industry." Well, this is from a pretty large group. I think this is from Accenture. This is what they came up with by industry. So retail, 63% customer retention. Banking, 75%. So we all know how hard it is to switch a bank. Telecom, right? I think this is interesting. Everybody complains about their mobile phone provider, and they've got a 78% retention rate. IT services, 81%, right? From that standpoint. Insurance, 83%. Professional services, that's lawyers, accountants, financial advisors, that kind of stuff, 84%. So, as you look at that, when you get into where you need to have a high level of trust, insurance, professional services, accountants, it's really high, right? I was a little surprised that banking was 75%. I would think that it would be higher just because of the pain involved with switching a bank. So, again, guys, that's the primary stuff that we talked about, right? Obviously, some stats to make it look interesting. You've got the formula. So if you want the formula, I'll post the formula down in the first comment below so you guys can grab that. And then, obviously the retention rates by industry. So those will all be in the description. I'll throw the formula in the description and in the first comment, and we'll go from there. So that's pretty much all I got for you today. So again, as I always say, this is all part of our growth acceleration playbook. I came up with a really new fancy graphic for you. But this is what we do. And it's a 9-step process in 3 phases. The 3 phases are define, develop, and drive. And, we start with understanding your vision, help you identify your ideal client profile. The unique value matrix is your messaging and brainstorming so you can provide value. We help you create lead magnets to attract them, automation and sales enablement to automate the process. The perfect experience, we make sure that you can build that perfect experience. And then we talk about advertising and outreach, help you build yourself out as an authority, and then we're around when your clients are looking for you, help you build that out. So that's an overview of what we do. But that's all I got for you today. If you like this content, remember, give me a thumbs up, like it. You can always leave a comment. Love to hear from everybody. And I do get a lot of direct messages from people. They don't always want to post their stuff for everybody to see. I do appreciate all the comments you guys send me. And then finally, hey, share it, right? This is how we do things. That's my information if you want to get in touch with us. And that's all I've got for you guys now. Have a great day, and we'll talk with you soon. Thanks.